Hey everybody, this video is going to be a showcase of all of the modding that I have done for Battalion Wars 2. Currently, the modding scene for this game consists of a grand total of 2 people, myself and another guy from YouTube, and I really owe it to him. His name is Marbrinus on YouTube. He discovered pretty much all of the stuff that allows us to edit levels in Battalion Wars. Both games, as a matter of fact. I'll link to his channel so you can see all of the stuff he's done for Battalion Wars 1. Now, as for this level, it is an edit of Line in the Sand, and you are playing as Tundra instead of the Frontier, and you're trying to take the HQ. Unfortunately, due to the way the level was originally programmed, as soon as you take the HQ, it's technically game over, because having the HQ captured is a defeat condition in the original level. There are still things we are not able to edit, but I think I was able to create something that's interesting to try out occasionally. I challenge anybody who's interested to capture this HQ without losing both light tanks. That's a little trickier than it looks because, unfortunately, the AI for your own battalion, it tends to disobey your commands. Like, right here, I call my infantry to follow them to get them off the flag, but in a few seconds here, one of them is going to start capturing it without any order from me. Like, right there. That's basically a limitation. We can't edit how the AI was originally programmed, so we have to live with that. But hey, I was able to make an artillery unit move into position by replacing one of the light tanks, and these bazooka veterans come in later because they're infantry that attacked the HQ. Originally, they were Tundra infantry that attacked the HQ, but now that they're Western Frontier bazooka veterans, they try to reinforce it. So I think it's interesting all of the things we've managed to accomplish, and we've been able to discover a few interesting qualities of Battalion Wars 2, such as how the damage ratios work. But in any case, let's capture this HQ. And you guys are probably going to be interested in this scene because you finally get to see what happens when you lose this part in the original map. Not that it's very interesting in and of itself. Some helicopters fly in. The helipads are still green for some reason, even though the HQ changed to red. And it's game over. So, for the rest of the video, we'll be looking at a couple of units that you're not originally supposed to be playing as. This is the Tundra Recon, and as you can see, it's being manned by Western Frontier grunts. It is actually possible to have the grunts be of a different allegiance than the vehicle they're riding around in, which gives me the idea of Western Frontier grunts stealing one of the Tundra Recons, which is a pretty cool idea. The weird thing is, though, the game still counts me as being on the Frontier side, even though my vehicle is clearly a Tundra Recon. So later on in the level, when an actual Tundra Recon appears, it'll be shooting at me and doing damage. So that's pretty strange. The cool thing is, though, that the Tundra Recon seems to have different physics from the Western Frontier Recon, and we all know Recon physics are very fun to play around with. So I'll just be shooting around things for the rest of this clip, and then we'll move on to some other levels which contain units that you aren't originally able to play as. Now, since the levels in this game load each unit class on a by-map basis, we're not entirely sure how to get, like, say, the Tundra Recon in a level where it doesn't originally appear, so that's one of the limitations of hacking this game. But hey, we're working on it. Eventually we'll figure something out, and woo, wheelie! There are a couple of units that won't be showing up in this video at all, unfortunately. One of them is the Anglo Artillery. Try as I might, I could not get it to be on your side. And another wheelie! So you won't be seeing the Anglo Artillery because the only missions it appears in are A Matter of Honor and one of the co-op maps. And of course, since it's a multiplayer map, hacking, I think you can hack it into... Ooh, a flip! I think you can hack the co-op maps into single player just fine, but that'll take a little bit more work than what I'm willing to put in. Another unit that you're not going to see is the Exylvanian Fighter. I don't think the Exylvanian Fighter is that interesting to look at, so I figured, why should I? Marvinus has a video of that anyhow. You're also not going to see the Munitions Experts, which are apparently playable except that they can't fire because they don't have any guns on them. Oops, I guess I shouldn't be ramming my recon into the oil drums. That's probably not a good idea. One unit that I'm glad I was able to get working, however, was the Solar Empire Dreadnought, which only shows up in this single level right here, Operation Reprimand. That's the only level the Solar Empire Dreadnought is in, and that's really a total waste because the thing looks so cool. Oh yeah, and I've got the gold star flying above me because in order to complete this level you have to destroy the Dreadnought, so I just have to ram it into a wall to win the level. Oh, and there's more destructible stuff in this level than I realized. Those lights are destructible, all of those things are destructible. It's pretty cool. So what you're supposed to do with this Dreadnought is destroy it. But I actually sailed all the way to the end of the level where the bridge is in order to try sailing under it, and it's just barely big enough to fit. One thing that you are not supposed to do with this Dreadnought, however, is that you are not supposed to sail it onto dry land. And it bounces. That just looks... It just looks so silly. Unfortunately, I seem to be stuck now. I can turn around and I can shoot at things. But unless I were somehow able to destroy this by shooting at myself with my own explosives, I'm probably going to be stuck there for a while now. Now, there are a couple of levels in this game that are really weird to edit. Back in Enemies Undone, I would have changed the 2 infantry in the Tundra Recon to Tundran soldiers, but that apparently does something horribly wrong with the level and it causes huge bugs. I don't know why. Enemies Undone and this level, their finest hour, these are 2 really strange levels to edit. Most of the conventional stuff that we try doesn't really work. Anyhow, yes, you aren't. Marbinus was able to make it so that you can control the air transport in this level. The air transports are perfectly controllable. They are constantly flying forward as if they are planes when controlled by the player. Well, they're not supposed to be controlled by the player, so that makes sense. I don't know if it's possible to land the air transport and drop its cargo, but apparently you can. I'm not sure how, because the thing isn't letting me land the helicopter. Here's another unit that you never get to play as ever. It only shows up in this level. The Solar Empire Fighter. It looks just as cool as it did back in Battalion Wars 1, and its missiles look really cool. Notice how that they don't take flight immediately. That's so interesting. Actually, there is a Solar Empire Fighter in a cutscene in the very first level of the Solar Empire campaign, so I could hack it into level if I wanted to. So that's really interesting. And of course the air transport again. If you try to control transfer into an air transport after it lands, like that one right there, and then you just take control of it. Also, it landed and deployed an enemy tank. All of the enemies had their allegiances changed so that doing this was possible. And finally, we have the final level of the game, and I am controlling the Straddle Destroyer. Yes, this unit only appears in the very definitely final level of the game. And I noticed that it doesn't have its name displayed in the bottom left corner. That's very strange. The camera is also behaving weird. I'm actually mashing C here, but the camera never actually changes. I mean, it changes a little bit, but not by much. So anyways, the Straddle Destroyer, I don't think I would ever use it compared to a bomber or a fighter, but it actually controls a lot better here than it did in Battalion Wars 1. Which is weird, because if you've gone to such great lengths to improve a unit, then why don't you just make it playable at some point? But they didn't. Anyways, it drops bombs if you're not locked onto anything, or if you're locked onto a ground unit. But if you're locked onto an air unit, it shoots missiles. So I'm going to demonstrate on this gunship here. And then the heavy tank. So yeah, that's really interesting. This level also has Exylvanian fighters in it, but I don't show them because I did not bother to make another air unit appear. There was only one Exylvanian fighter when the level begins, really. So I just changed it into a Straddle Destroyer. The way the game handles units is very strange from an internal standpoint, but then again, they didn't put comments in their code, so I guess that's to be expected. We're literally looking just like... It really looks like gibberish if you open up one of the game's files and just like go through it. Even though it's a text file, it's still very strange to decipher on your own. But hey, I'm glad we were able to... I should also mention that this level is really, really fun. Flying around like this, just like flying around it. It looks so great from the air, but from the ground it's a really terrible stage. So I might make a custom level based on it one day. Ouch, that hurt. Don't worry though, that particular unit is set to respawn, so it'll eventually be back. And I might as well free these heavy tanks, because why not? It's interesting that the ammo dump takes no damage when Exylvania shoots at it. You would think that the ammo dump would be neutral, but apparently the ammo dump has an allegiance. The ammo dump has an agenda, people. So anyway, in order to end this level, I just have to destroy the battle station. There it is! Of course, those anti-air veterans are going to shoot at me for a while until I get the job done. And it still thinks I'm running away. It's hilarious how the enemy CO, technically, is chastising me for fleeing the battlefield when I'm playing as Exylvania. Anyhow, that's the end of that. Well, there's only one real way we can close down Battalion Wars 2, and that's by having Private Hazard save the world. Yes! Private Hazard is sadly not all that much different from a regular grunt, but however, you'll notice that I take a lot of hits here and incur very little damage. That's because I changed Private Hazard's health bar so that he has like 100 times the normal amount of health. It's really the only way he can survive this segment and clear the stage by himself. Because apparently if you switch to another unit, like, it's weird. In order to control transfer to Private Hazard, you have to lock onto him because he won't show up in the list of units for some reason. Oh, and he also has a weird bug. I guess since he was never meant to capture anything, they didn't correct this, but if he tries to capture something, he will randomly jump out of the flagpole or whatever it is he's capturing. But still, Private Hazard just saved the world. What a way to end Battalion Wars 2, am I right? Thank you all very much for watching me as I trudge through these pair of wonderful games. Here's hoping Battalion Wars 3 comes out sometime in the future so I can play that, too. And LP it. And mod it! Modding videos might be coming to my YouTube channel in the future as we get more things worked on, so... maybe we'll see that one day. Who knows? I'm Ephraim225. This has been Battalion Wars and Battalion Wars 2. Thank you very much, Kuju, for making these games. Now make me a sequel, darn it!